I'd have to say one of my favorite spiritual experiences from my mission was within the first 6 weeks of my mission. My companion at the time, she was from Honduras, and she was the Spanish coordinator, so she was in charge of all the Spanish sisters, as well as any Spanish events going on in Temple Square that she had to help with. And so there's this big program put on every, just before Christmas. And so she was in charge of it. The program was that night, and it was actually about an hour away, and we had about 50 tickets that we needed to hand out to just give to people. And so we saw this, we were frantically trying to hand out all these tickets so that people could go to the concert. And I remember we saw this family, they had about 12 kids. It was this really big and beautiful family, and we just thought, oh, they should go to the concert. They weren't even Hispanic, but we just thought they would love this concert because it's a lot of singing and dancing and very interactive. And so we went up to them and asked them if they'd like to go to the concert. And all the kids were like, yeah, we want to go. Except for this one kid who stepped forward, and he was handicapped. And he put his hands on his hips. And he said, I came here to see Jesus. I want to see Jesus. And in that moment, it reminded me of how caught up we were in getting people to go to this concert, instead of focusing on what we really should have been focusing on the Savior. And in that moment, we literally dropped our hands with those tickets and said, let's go see the Savior. And he grabbed our hands and started walking us up towards the Christus, the statue of Christ. And he knelt down in front of him, and we knelt with him and all the other kids around us as well. And he looked up at Jesus, and he just kept telling him, Jesus, I love you. Jesus, I'm sorry. He went up and felt the prints in his hands and in his feet. And it was just one of the most tender and spiritual moments to remind us that sometimes we get so caught up, even as missionaries, even in some good things. This concert was a great thing. It was a missionary resource. But we were losing sight of the Savior. And that was one of the sweetest experiences on my mission.